Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Do you remember back when we actually did record players on this show? I do, and it wasn't that long ago, guys. Hey, I saw all this cool stuff at CES, and I'm like, we have to take a dive into some of this other technology, and we'll be doing more of it in the future. So I hope you like sort of the varied approach that we have. Record players, definitely, that's what our foundation is on, but also other, vintage audio formats and technologies and devices too. I just think it's fun, so. It's everything-ology, guys. It's everything-ology. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this. This is a Studebaker stereo turntable system with built-in speakers. It's got Bluetooth. It's got a magnetic cartridge. And I'm really excited to see what they've put together here, guys. So, you're not going to want to miss this.
This is Record-ology.
Okay, and let's take a look at this. The packaging is really cool. I love what Studebaker has done with this. Now, before we get too far along, let's talk about Studebaker. Studebaker is a brand that's either licensed or owned by Spectra Marketing. And as you can see, they also have Jensen and some other brands that you've heard of as well. Let's take a look at the FCC ID search on this device and see who actually makes it for Spectra. All we have to do is type in the FCC ID that comes in the paperwork. And as you can see, it is actually made by a company called Omega Electronic Limited. This is all public information, and as you can see from these inside photos here, they have to disclose exactly how it's put together. But enough of that, it's time to actually unbox this device and give it a review. It has full Bluetooth support and some interesting features like silver hot stamped ring on platter. What in the heck is that? I've never heard about that. Wooden speakers, easy access control, Audio-Technica magnetic cartridge, metal tone arm, pitch control, auxiliary input, all kinds of crazy and cool stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Gonna open the box here. Very interesting box, by the way. It's huge, but it's sort of a low profile box with everything spread out. In an interesting way to have it all packed, in my opinion. Okay, so you've got the user manual and everything in here. You're going to want to hold on to that. All the information about basic operations is going to be in here, as well as explanation of different features that it has. Also, don't forget to hold on to that warranty card. It does come with a 90-day warranty. And now it is time to unbox this thing. So again, it's packed in a really interesting way, fairly low profile box, but really wide and really, really deep. That's because it has to accommodate the speakers that it comes with. It comes with two 15-watt speakers for a total of 30 watts power. I decided to kind of lift it out of the box. There was not really any other way to do it. There's no way to really slide it out. So that was kind of the only approach that I could take. Okay, and here's our power supply tucked neatly in one of the styrofoam blocks. We'll set that aside. And now we got to figure out how to get the rest of this apart. It is packed tight. The design that went into packing this is amazing. Very efficient. Used almost every square inch of space in that box. All right, here are the speakers. I'm going to set those aside. They're actually surprisingly heavy. I wasn't expecting too much in terms of speakers, but these are really hefty just by the weight. And we're going to go ahead and take off that last foam brick on the end. As typically happens with these, the top dust cover piece is wrapped completely separately. Let's take a closer look at these speakers. I'm going to unpack each one. They're all wrapped in this anti-static sort of foam wrap. And the finish on this entire setup is this piano black finish. And as you will see, it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, but it is a magnet for dust and debris. So I had off camera, I had a little microfiber cloth that I constantly had to keep wiping as I was filming this. It's got a ported speaker. It's actually pretty impressive. A two-way ported speaker. And like I said, it's got some good heft to it. All right, here's that dust cover. It's again wrapped in the foam wrap. And then underneath of that, it has a film, sort of a cling film that protects that dust cover. And dust covers are very susceptible to scratching. I'm not sure if they're made out of polycarbonate or what, but they are very susceptible to scratching. So you want to make sure that you don't stack anything on top of it. And here is the turntable itself. Just beautiful. Look at this. The finish is phenomenal, but look at this. It's got dust already sort of from packing on it. So we'll go ahead and sort of wipe that away. As I said, that's sort of an ongoing theme with these is they're gorgeous, but you do have to take into consideration the fact that it is a magnet for dust. Okay, And picking up the device here, it's actually got some good heft to it. Very unique design all the way around. Look at this thing. It's got plastic feet with rubber tips. It's a pretty common design element that I'm seeing a lot lately. But look at this really weird like radiator grill. This has to be the internal amplifier because this does have a volume control and drives the speakers directly, as you can see there. There's a power plug and the audio out. There's also a headphone jack and an aux in as well. But looking at this thing is just bizarre. I've never seen this mechanism. It looks completely foreign to me, like nothing I've ever seen. A very plasticky platter on there. But it does have a circlip. So let's go ahead and pop the circlip off. I want to look under the hood here because like I said, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. And lo and behold, this thing has an auto return mechanism. So when the record reaches the end, it'll automatically return the tone arm to the rest. That's what those gears are for. And there's the top side of that amplifier. But very interesting. Look at the position of the motor and the motor pulley right there. Very bizarre. Okay, here's the transport screw. We've reviewed this before, but some record players come with this transport screw to make sure that it's rigid during shipment, but it has sort of that springiness when it's in use so that you get that sound isolation from vibrations, and you turn it clockwise in order to engage it. Look at the bottom of the platter here. Sort of, I don't know if this is injection molded, this metal ring here, but there's like little wisps of plastic and things in here. You can see that cog on the middle of the spindle there engages the auto return mechanism, that white gear as you see right there. So it's easy to put the belt back on and place this platter back into place, make sure it's on right, it's not flipped. And we should be about ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and take the twisty tie off of the tone arm. It does have a cueing lever, which you can see right behind my fingers right there. But make sure, as I forgot to, that the clip is off before you raise and lower that tone arm. As you can see, this one has an adjustable counterbalance, but it's completely out of whack. And I've never seen a counterbalance like this one. I'm going to have to zero this thing out. I'm going to have to create a float point, which is where the back of the tone arm is adjusted so that the tone arm just floats in midair so that I know what zero is and then can apply the appropriate amount of downforce. Now this counterbalance assembly is really bizarre because if you look at it carefully, there's little numbers there, 0.5, 1.5, and 2.5. That's the downforce amount that you can adjust it to. I'm not 100% sure if the front of the weight is where you adjust it to, but I'm going to put it at 1.5 for right now. Now it does have a pitch control, which is nice. The knobs are a little loose. The volume knob isn't an on and off plus volume. It's just volume, which is interesting. There's a 45 adapter, already collecting dust. The transport screws and function select. You can do recording on here. You can play Bluetooth, all that good stuff. Now these strobe dots, I'm not sure if those are decorative or if they're actually functional. Here's the head shell. The head shell holds the cartridge and the stylus. It's mostly decorative. I don't think it's really designed to be upgraded or replaced or even really adjusted. But let's go ahead and play with this. Okay, the record isn't starting as it should. Okay, so I fiddled with the volume knob and it did start, but it should have started spinning when I rotated it across there. But let's go ahead and give it a listen. And it seems to be playing at about 78 RPM when it's set to 33. So we've got some pitch issues here. And the record player didn't stop when I returned the tone arm. What in the world? Like, it's not slowing down. I don't know how to stop it. The volume knob now isn't doing anything to stop it. I can't drag it to a stop, which you probably shouldn't do anyway. So maybe I'm just going to grab the record off of there. That's really bizarre. It won't start and it won't stop as it should. I'm just going to change the function button and see if that stops it. I'm going to switch it from, maybe if I switch it to Bluetooth. Okay, that helped. So that was really, really weird. I'm going to try and check. That is so bizarre. And then flipping it back to phono mode just starts the platter again automatically. And then it stops. Again, because I don't know for sure if those dots on the platter are real strobe dots or not, I'm going to use an actual platter mat that has the strobe disc imprinted onto it so we can get an accurate judge of speed. Unfortunately, I neglected to remember that the innermost set of rings was for 60 hertz, aka the United States and countries that have 60 hertz power, and I mistakenly used the outer ring, as indicated here, the outermost ring, which is for 50 hertz countries, but it didn't really matter because I had to turn the pitch slider all the way down to even get that stationary, which I didn't realize at the time would still yield a very high pitch an inaccurate speed. So I'm going to go ahead and take the platter mat off and put a record back onto it, and we're going to go ahead and find out my mistake, and you're going to hear that the pitch is still really, really high. At the end of the day, the lesson here, kids, is the pitch on this is set way too high. So regardless of what you do with the knob, it's way inaccurate, and I'm not sure if there is a pot somewhere that you can recalibrate that, but I couldn't find it. Then I found out, to my amazement and horror, that the whole tone arm can fall off the back side of the tone arm rest. If you look carefully here, this little rubber bar is supposed to hold the tone arm up, but I've never seen a record player that allows you to have it fall off the back as this one did. All right, here's a look at the side and the front of the cartridge. You can see the alignment's a little bit off, a little bit skewed, as you can see. Okay, let's go ahead and play a 45. Maybe at the 45 RPM setting, the speed is more accurate. So let's go ahead and give that a listen now. I knew I had to have you. You simply took my breath. Okay, this thing just wants to spin too fast, no matter which setting and no matter what you do. I looked under the hood again to see if there was any obvious adjustment, and there just wasn't anything. It would probably be attached to the motor anyway, which as you can see is below the plinth, even at that level. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. This is such a great idea for a turntable, and the design is there. It's just the execution isn't where it needs to be. They do have a higher end version of this, which I hope we get an opportunity to review, but this one just misses the mark. All right, let's go ahead and test those speakers out and play something over Bluetooth.
I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around, and the rumpus and ruck is so comfortable.
Lately I've been snoozing, yeah, your boy's been cruising, taking breaks like cars, cause we've been losing cruise control, the troll's been behind, yeah, we still.
Okay, and the sound was actually really good. Those are surprisingly good speakers for only 15 watts. And overall, I'm left with a feeling of, dang, this is a shame. This could have been so cool. I love the design of it. I love the idea of it. If they could just polish up the execution, they'd have a really good product on their hands. Okay guys, and there it is, simple as that. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor, tell somebody about the show that's never heard of us before. Share the video out on your social media. Check us out later this week. We've got another awesome Studebaker show coming up and a really cool device I'm very excited to share with you guys. So you're not going to want to miss that. But in the meantime, happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.